Well, the flight numbers for disc golf. There's 4 numbers that dictate the flight of each frisbee. The first number that comes into play is the speed of the frisbee. These numbers are generally from 1 to, say, as high as 15, I believe, is the highest speed number. And what that refers to is the how fast the disc cuts through the air. And a high-speed disc, like a 15-speed disc, will have a very thin profile where it will cut through the air faster than, say, a blunt nose frisbee, which would be a lower speed. This is a particle that is a number 3. This current frisbee I have is an octane, and it has a speed number of 13. So as you can see, based on the thickness of the rim, that the speed is defined by its bluntness or ability to cut the air. So that's the first number in our four factors. The second number that comes into play is the glide factor of the frisbee, how well it holds the air. These numbers go from, I believe it starts at 1 and goes up to a 6, maybe even a 7. There might be a 7 out there. But what that basically is getting into is how well it holds the air, how long it will keep gliding before it wants to just fall out of the sky. Certain plates in their designs have better characteristics for keeping it afloat longer than others. Generally speaking, it's the depth of the dish that gives it the more glide. So, thinner, faster frisbees won't have as much glide as do the putters and some of the thicker rimmed, deeper dished frisbees. So I think that pretty much gives you an explanation on the glide, which gets us into the next factor. And the next factor is the high-speed turn, which is one of the most tricky ones of the flight factors. A lot of people get confused in that. They have in recent times dialed it in so that they're pretty much getting all the manufacturers on the same page of the playbook. The high-speed turn is when it first leaves your hand. Depending on how you throw a backhand or a forehand, it will flip the model. But for this purpose, I'll just go for backhand right-handed throwers. The high-speed turn, if let out of your hand coming flat, is how much it will peel off to the right before it finishes with its fade to the left. So those numbers go from 0 up to a -4. I don't think there's a -5. I'm not sure of one that I'm aware of. So 0 being the starting number doesn't really turn over to the right much. It basically just would go straight and then fade off left for a natural right-handed player. So if you're having difficulty out there, which a lot of players do, with it constantly going left, there's some things that you can do to combat that. And one is getting a lower numbered high-speed turn. So when I say lower number, 0 is the high number, and -1, -2, -3, -4 are the lower numbers. The lower you go to the -4, the more it will peel to the right before it comes back to the left. So I think that should kind of explain that. So it gets us into the fourth factor, which is the fade of the frisbee. And as the frisbee slows down and it loses its inertia, it has a general tendency to fade off to one side or another, depending on your flight release, backhand or forehand. So a high number in the fade will have a definitive and hard cut at the end, a hard finish to the left or right, depending on your throw. And a lower number, 1 or even a 0 that they have, will pretty much basically just hold its straight line without any fade at all at the end. So hopefully that will clear things up for some people. And if you got any good questions that you want to throw back at me with regards to those numbers, I'd be more than glad to entertain them. Have a great day.
These are some of his trophies. Doug Opiela has been playing for a very long time. Hey, Merlin. Molds of all different makes, models, weights, colors. These are some of his trophies. Doug Opiela has been playing for a very long time. Hey, Merlin. Molds of all different makes, models, weights, colors.